So who's up next?
Welcome, Internet, to the Xbox Empire podcast, part of the Play Some Video Games network of podcasts. I'm Elaine. That's Donnie. Look, he's here. What's up, Donnie? We both wearing our onesies because it was, audience request, man.
Audience yeah, exactly. It's a patron request.
Well, then you do the thing.
my hoodie is dirty, and it smells
stinky?
dirty. It's
you stinky?
all
Did you pull the I live in a dorm room move where you Febrezed it to death and then shook it out a little bit and prayed? Yeah.
It's still not working. Just my wife wore it. Why does it smell like this?
I was going to say it should smell good if your wife wore it.
Oh, it doesn't.
Sir.
I'm just saying it doesn't.
I smell like I smell delightful, like vanilla and flowers. See, are you drinking a mojito today? Is this something new?
Rum punch.
Ooh, all right. I've got tea.
Orange juice, little pineapple.
Did you go in the hot tub today?
I just got out. That's why I'm you could still see the water, like my hair is wet.
So I bring this up because, and I don't care that this is an Xbox show, we're discussing this. I totally sold my husband on this hot tub. Because I was like, look, it's $600. Donnie says you could just sit on the side of it. Quality stuff. So I sold him, so I'm going to order it in the next week or so, and I want that dumb light that you want to RGB my hot tub.
RGB hot tub.
I really expected to have to go in on the hard sell. Like, I was ready. Nope. Nah. He was just like, yeah, you know what? Look, it's only $600. What's the worst that happens, you know?
In the times of the COVID, like, this is a reasonable request.
We're bored. We're going to put it on the patio, and that's that. And we're done.
It's super fun. I'm actually draining it because I lifted the top off, and, like, it stormed last night. We had tornadoes and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And the top has, like, water, and there is an issue where, like, I think I have to keep, like, one side clipped and then undo the other one and, like, flip it because the water keeps falling in the tub.
Oh, really?
The water that sits on top of the lid.
Oh, yeah. Whenever we've been, like, when we used to rent houses in North Carolina, that's what people would do. They would just, like, leave it clipped on the one side and fold it open. And if you really needed it for the full amount of people, they would fully open it. That's what they would do. That was the trick.
Sense.
Yeah, try that.
I feel like I'm really loud. It's one of the things with a new microphone is I feel like I'm so loud because I don't hear myself like I used to in the Yeti.
Oh, that's right. It does have the monitoring. I don't use that because I can't stand listening to myself.
So I feel like I'm yelling really loud. You know.
I don't know. It doesn't sound bad to me, but I'm just
hopefully
here.
Chat. Let me know if I'm too loud.
Yeah. Chat's here. We're here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, hot tub might be happening in the next couple of weeks. Look, man, I'm gonna get a green dumb light.
We're gonna rip off the Xbox drive.
Yeah, except hot tubs.
Yeah, Dev said X tub. See, I was going the Xbox dive.
Oh, I like that.
Like a very similar logo, except like we dive under the water.
Okay, I kind of like that. That's pretty good.
The Xbox dive
or Game Pass dive. Let's be real about who we are here, Donnie.
Game Pass tub.
Yeah, that sounds. That one sounds questionable, and I don't even know why. Like, why does that gross me out? It sounds like a weird soup of video games.
It's a really good tagline, right? Swimming in Game Pass, because okay. That's what we're doing.
Okay. My husband, why is there a boom arm and a computer out in the backyard next to the hot tub? Don't ask questions. I have an OnlyFans. What do you want? Well, as long as you're making money in his tax write-off.
As long as you're bringing it in, right?
The man just rolls.
That's real marriage. That's when you get married. You're like, hey, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Look, times are tough, all right? Leave me be. It's tax season popping off over here.
It is loud. When you turn on the bubbles and stuff, it gets real loud.
I mean, it's a hot tub. It's all right. Then I won't be able to hear the kids yelling crap at me.
Very good. Yeah, I'm draining mine now, and I'm going to fill it up with super hot water. And, I've gone... I told this story, but it hasn't released yet. But I've gone super weird where I've hooked up a water hose to my sink. And I ran the water hose out the window to the hot tub.
What?
So when I refresh the water, I can fill it up with hot water.
You can fill it with hot water. You don't have to wait for it to get warmed up.
I don't have to wait for it to warm.
That's not weird. That's That's some next level lazy shit. That's what that is.
It cost me $9. It's a sweet deal. It's a little cup link. It snaps on.
I mean, we're not accounting for all the money spent on the energy to heat the hot water, but we'll go with $9.
Exactly. And here's the thing. And this is the last thing I'll say. It doesn't, so like it'll go to 104 degrees.
Yes.
And then when you take the top off and you start running the bubbles, it'll plunge quickly.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
You'll be at 96 degrees in like 30 minutes.
Okay.
So with the hose, though,
oh my God,
you could crank up some hot water in that thing, and it'll stay 104 for like a good hour.
This is like the old times where they bring you buckets of hot water to refresh your bathtub. That's what you're doing. You're Red Dead Redemptioning in this crap.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's The Witcher. Think of me, but The Witcher.
I'm gonna let the internet have that one. Y'all go nuts. Go crazy with that one. All right, let's talk about video games. Let's talk about this first. We both bought, because we're the people that we are. We both bought, and we're showing them if you're watching the video version of this, and if you're not, that's fine. We both purchased the Microsoft Xbox wireless headset. I believe that is the full title that they are giving to this thing. I've had mine for most of this week. I got it Wednesday. You've had yours for over a week now, right?
Yeah. Yep, last week.
And we've both been playing video games with them, and we figured we'd chat them up. These suckers are $99. The interesting feature would be, for people who haven't listened to past shows, is that you can link them both to the console and to like a phone or Bluetooth device and mix the audio. Yeah, and do an audio mix. So if you're the person who likes to grind for achievements and listen to podcasts or music, there's very few headsets on the market that do this. The Arxis... Or
if you're doing voice chat via Discord, which might come up later.
Yeah, well... I love it when you drop a transition in that I don't even have to work for. That's beautiful. So the audio mixing thing for a lot of folks, there are not very many headsets that do this wireless. The Arxis 9X does this. The 7X does not. And the 9X is $200. So let's discuss. How do you feel about these things, having used them for a little longer than me?
I've got some thoughts, but I've got one interesting thing that I want to highlight first. Let's talk first and foremost like comfort.
Yeah, okay.
Wearing them.
I'm curious.
I
had
the 9Xs. I've had the 7Xs and the 9Xs. So I've had both the SteelSeries.
Yep.
And the SteelSeries feel freaking amazing.
Yeah, I have the 7X, and I'm going to tell y'all this. Those are the nicest, most comfortable headphones that you can wear for a console that are wireless on the market. Full stop.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Yeah, these are not nearly as comfortable to wear as those.
No.
But that doesn't mean that these are not comfortable.
Agreed.
The leather ear cups are fine. They feel fine. But did you know that the ear cups are swappable with the Arctis 9Xs, and you can swap out the plush.
For the foam. Look at that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I bought an extra set of cups off Amazon for $12.
That's smart.
And that makes them feel, at least to me, a little bit better than they do off the shelf.
What's the longest session that you've worn them for? Because I've been in them for like 2.5 hours at a clip, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's about the same.
Okay.
I've played them. Now I'm trying to remember everything that I was playing, but the first day I played, I think, for a good 4 or 5 hours because I wanted to push the battery life.
Yeah, that's fair. That I haven't done yet. Yeah.
And I was playing, and they were fine.
Yeah.
I didn't have an issue wearing them.
I think the best note that I can give them is no, they're not as comfortable as the SteelSeries headsets. However, they don't, for me, give me that pressure on the ears feeling when you take them off. Like, they don't pinch at my ears. Like, even these Logitechs that I'm wearing right now, if I wear them for an extended period of time, my ears feel it. I have not had a problem so far with the Microsoft ones. And for $99, I mean, that's a pretty sweet deal. Let's discuss this. They are bassy boys. That is a bassy ass headset.
They thump. They bring the thump in a big way.
Bro, the first game I played with these, I was like, I'm gonna play Tetris Effect because I want to see that has range, right? It has a lot. I put these things on. I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot of bass. I had to dump the bass a little.
All about that bass.
I had to bring up the mids and the highs because they were very aggressive on the low end. It's not bad. It feels warm. It's just. I was not expecting that for a cheaper headset.
They thump more than any headset I've ever had.
Yeah.
I've had the Astro 20s, the 50s, the Arctis 7s, and the Arctis 9s, and these have way more bass than all of those. And it's not really close, comparably.
It's clean bass, too. It doesn't feel...
Yeah, it's true.
...muddy. That does happen. Like, you get headsets that really, like... boost the low end, but they go so far that it sounds crappy. You know.
The only thing that I can say about that is I've had the Dolby Atmos for a long
I use it
time.
too. Yep.
And I replayed Gears, and replaying Gears with this headset felt like I was experiencing that in a newer way. Like it felt very different than even my 9Xs. I
feel
think
this way
because of that bass.
I feel this way about Wolfenstein because I've been playing New Order again, and I put them
Nice.
on. And I did not originally play that game with Atmos, so this was new. There's a lot of moving audio happening, and a lot of the booms and the background war noises are deep. I'm like, dude, I'm actually pretty impressed with these things for $100.
That would be my ultimate, I think, takeaway as well. Is for $99, they're basically really hard to beat, and it's an easy recommendation. But I do have some complaints.
So do I.
I don't think this is a great headset if your primary use for them is party chat with your friends.
It's not a great microphone. Let's be clear.
It's not a great
just
mic.
not.
I did hop on and play with Nathan a bit to test, and we had to do quite a bit of mixing because he could keep hearing himself coming through my headset.
That is a very sensitive microphone. One.
Yep.
Two, it's not as far away from the headset as I would like it to be. I really like the way that the SteelSeries headsets do it, where
So you
the
can see-
headset, it's so close to the cox.
No, here's the thing. I had it like this, and what
So
we ended up
against your
doing
cheek.
is we turned up the mic monitoring, like the auto mute,
Yes,
to high.
yes. Yep.
And then I literally just pulled this away like that.
Yeah, it's
And I had to turn the volume down to get to where he couldn't hear himself.
the biggest issue I have is that the microphone is not long enough. This problem would be solved if it was a longer mic. So the way the SteelSeries headsets and lots of other ones do it is it's a telescoping mic, but it comes out almost in front of your mouth, like it's further than your face for most people. And that pulls it away from the cup of the earphones, so the sound is not looping back in on itself.
Yep.
I don't. It's not a great mic. Look, if you're going to use it for party chat, it's a crappy mic. There's nothing to say about it.
Yeah, there are better headsets. And the other thing is, I do think audio quality-wise, I don't think it's as good as my 9Xs were either.
It's not.
With the exception of the bass and what that brings to like Dolby. Because I
agree with
played
that.
the first section of Gears 5, and when you enter the building, there's like a collapse where the floor comes down.
Yes.
And like hearing that in Dolby Atmos with this headset with the bass and everything was way more powerful than hearing it the first time I played, and I played the first time with the 9Xs. But also, like, the directional audio, right near that scene, there's a waterfall. And I sat there for like 15 minutes, like spinning in circles and like walking away and walking.
Did stuff like that too.
Not only do I hear the direction, it feels very precise and accurate. Like when I was
Agree.
gunfighting and stuff, I would find myself snapping to a sound and snapping like to the sound. Like I would, because I was hearing it, I think more accurate. I wasn't just hearing it out the right side. I was hearing it like at an angle, at a direction off the right-hand side.
Yeah, they're mixed better for that stuff too. And I actually like the way they sound for music. I'm the type of person who listens to bassy music though. So I'm actually kind of impressed with how well they mix for the stuff that I listen to. It's mostly EDM stuff, but I mean, I put them through some tracks that have range, and then I put them through ones where I'm just like, this bass is so low, I might break your windows. And they held up without
Nice.
sounding like, tinny or that like bass where it's like so shaky that it doesn't sound good. So I have had a couple audio dropouts. It's weird. I've had a few. I had a few when I first started using them, and then it kind of sorted itself out weirdly enough, and I don't know if there's...
They've been issuing patches.
Have they? Okay.
They have.
They'll fix it. I'm not worried.
I had a
about it.
few. I was real scared because I remember I brought that up about my 9Xs.
Yeah, that was a problem.
I had that a lot, and I thought it was the Bluetooth and the wireless interference. I don't think that's the case with this because basically every time I brought up like an overlay, so if I was in a game and then I hit the guide button,
Yes.
then I would hear the static and it would kind of glitch out and then it would reconnect.
Yes.
I've yet to hear it in game, and I didn't have any issues with that while I was playing with Nathan. We had no
Interesting.
issues.
Okay, that's
And
interesting.
I played the whole time. Oh, I've played Tomb Raider. That's what I'm playing.
Okay.
I played Tomb Raider for like 5 hours with
That's
these
a
things
good
on.
call.
And had no issues.
I had a couple drops when I first started Tetris. They are only noticeable in something like Tetris because it's an extended audio track that I know super well. So like if there's a blip, and it wasn't a full disconnect and static, it was like little blips of drop, like drop sound. But then after about an hour or so, it sort of sorted itself out. I don't know, maybe there's
And to be fair, for listeners, I sit really close to my Xbox.
Yeah, me too. I'm
6
feet away. Absolute max. Yeah, I'm not. I don't sit far, but my house is filled with sources of Bluetooth and wireless interference. It's just a freaking nightmare of stuff. So
I do absolutely love the radial dials.
It's the most ingenious thing. So for people who don't have these headsets, your right cup, you spin the dial forward to increase the volume, backwards to decrease the volume, and on the left cup, it controls the chat mix, which has kind of 3 levels. It's not
or the Bluetooth mix, if you're
or the Bluetooth mix. I have a treadmill that has that same dial interface for speed and incline, and as soon as you get used to it, it's the most brilliant thing in the world. It's so intuitive to just go whoop, forward, back. I wish every headset that I owned had that, because I constantly am searching for buttons.
Yeah, you're always like kind of feeling it, where is it, and all that. And even with this one, like the button and the mic button, like I'm trying to find. But when I was playing Tomb Raider, I was listening to podcasts, and like when I'm playing, I just spin it all the way back and I'm listening to my show. And then when there's a cutscene, I just roll
go all the way forward. It's so
and
smart.
It's very easy. I'm not messing with my phone. I'm not trying to adjust volumes. I'm not in and out of menus.
I do like that the mic button is on the mic arm. Like the mic button itself is, if you follow the microphone back, yes, it's right on that. So you can't confuse it with the on-off button or the sync button, which is the same.
I kind of wish it was at the end.
I do too, but then you're grabbing the microphone to mute it.
One of the things that I love about my new microphone is it has a touch mute, and it's right here at the top.
The capacitive
and you
button.
just tap it.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to press it. It's just a tap.
I feel like if they put a capacitive tap button in this thing, it would not be $99 though. That's
point.
part of, that's an expense point that they didn't want to.
It's also kind of weird that like when the light is on, you're live.
I wish it is nice though. You can choose the brightness level. You can, I think, turn the light all the way off too, which is fine. I don't care. I'm in a dark room.
I did use Windows Central's EQ.
I did too.
Recommendations, and then I kind of fudged from there what I thought felt best.
I liked their high end. I actually turned on bass boost, dropped the bass a little bit, and raised the boost, and that made it more what I want. But you can fiddle with the bass boost. Is one of those things that like it kind of depends on the video game you're playing.
Probably.
It's very fiddly. If you're playing certain games, it's like too much. If you're playing other games, you need a little extra. So
yeah, I can imagine if I was playing something that was like real music based, because like I listen to music with my phone. I wouldn't want to listen to music, at least on the settings that I had set for Gears. I was like, this isn't good.
I think you should jump into Tetris and see how that feels, like because it's wildly different. The mix that works for Tetris is not enough bass for Wolfenstein. For me, because Tetris is so bassy, it's like shaking
I have my bass
feelings.
When Gears and Tomb Raider, I have my bass set to 6.
Mine's 2 levels below what is considered the mid. I forget what that.
They had 5. Yeah, it goes from 0. It goes from 0 to 10.
Yeah, mine's too low because it was just it came in hot. I booted it up with bass settings and I started up Tetris and I'm like, oh my god, okay, my fillings are shaking. I should probably
it's thumpy headphones.
It's a thumpy headset. It's a bassy boy.
I like it.
I think what we're saying to you folks is if you're on the border and you think you're going to use the mixing feature and you don't think you're going to use a lot of chat, $99 is a good place for you to go.
Yeah, I really like them. I don't have... Remember, my whole goal of getting rid of my Nexus for this was to fix the mixing. I had issues mixing with the Arctis, had tons of interference, tons of drops. It did not work when I was playing online with friends at all.
Yeah, so that was a design issue. Yeah.
It fixed it. It just fixed it. Like, it's just fixed now. So I don't have any issues with that. I don't think it's the best headset. Like, if you're an audiophile, you'll probably be let down. Yeah. It's not the best headset in the world. It might be the best headset in the world, though, for $99.
And as a wireless headset, let's be clear. Yeah. If you're going to wire and you're going to use a DAC, that's going to be a better experience for you, period. Full stop. It just is. I prefer my headsets, like I buy separate headsets for separate consoles just so I don't have to pair, unpair, or cable them. I just want to put a headset on and sit in a dark room.
I do love, again, that you can turn on your Xbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when my Xbox turns on, my TV turns on.
Everything.
So all I do is press the button on my headphones, and it all lights up and turns on.
It's like plugging into the freaking Matrix. It's pretty good.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is great.
The other thing I really like about the way Xbox handles audio is it lets you leave your external HDMI audio output on. You can choose that. So that if someone's sitting in the room with me, like I was testing the headset, so I wanted to be wearing it, but my kids wanted to watch me play Tetris, they can still hear the room audio. And it's not a noise-canceling headset, but the way those cups fit, it does a very good job of clearing the room audio out. It's very good.
When I first put them on, I thought maybe it had like some noise
it doesn't.
cancellation in it, because it's kind of, it does set up like some sort of false solitude.
It's just a very tight cup design, but it's elongated enough so it would fit most people's ears, but it just holds in your ears. It's very good. I bet you it's less with the foam pads though. The
plushy ones, but they feel a lot better.
Leather. Oh, I'm sure they do. Too.
They feel so nice.
So coming from someone who has the 7X and also the 7P, I would say if you're in the market for a headset and you don't care so much about chat audio, this is a good one. Good one for
I play online with friends in a chat room
very rarely.
Handful of times a year.
Same. I don't care.
5-7 times a year, maybe.
It goes so far for me as I wish I could detach the microphone.
That'd be cool.
I have other headsets that let me do that.
I'd rather plug in my actual microphone and just use it.
You can do that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you can.
So for me, it's real easy. But if you're on chat with your buddies like every night, like 5 nights a week playing Warzone, probably not the best mic.
Buy the 7X, not the 9X. 7X won't let you mix the audio, but the 7X, the SteelSeries 7X is probably one of my favorite console headsets right now. Just as FYI. Mm-hmm. Well, that about does that. I said I was playing Tetris. I've been playing through Wolfenstein. That 2014 game is still fire. It's still so freaking good, dude.
Ahead of the curve.
Great. It still holds up too visually.
It does.
But there's
some
auto
HDR.
And there's some muddy textures, but not like something that you're too busy murdering Nazis to notice.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the walls, you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. I love it. I'm very excited. It's been a great week of murdering Nazis over here.
Not that I want to admire like Nazi imagery, but when you're in like the fortress and the castle and stuff, there are like a really like hard contrast, like red and the gray, with the lighting through the windows and stuff, and like the candelabras, and it does look good.
It feels like they made some design choices that were very much at the end of the 360 and we're stretching it.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And there were smart ones. Contrast is a smart design choice. It holds up over time. Mm-hmm. Whereas like a really sharp texture, sometimes just it looks great now, but in 5 years,
outdated.
you know. I love the use of contrast and moving fabric and stuff like that. That game is still so good. If you haven't played Wolfenstein, play them all. Do it immediately. Mm-hmm. Just play.
Yeah, some of the designs are very ornate, which is kind of that's kind of like what Machine does that a lot in Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
and like that's kind of a thing. I think it might even just be a Bethesda thing. Like they really do get very, very detailed in design. You don't see a lot of flat, simple things. You find a lot of if they're not textured like detailed, they're actually, they've got a lot of detailed stuff on them. The table is set with spoons, forks, plates, candelabras,
I love that.
things,
it's so silly.
apples. Yeah, there's always stuff. The walls are always covered. There's stuff everywhere. And
if you look back,
it gives it like a warmth, like a fuller
lived
feeling.
In.
Yeah.
It's funny, if you look back even on Return to Castle Wolfenstein, like there was art on the walls back then, like this series lends itself to that because the Nazi war machine was so propaganda based to begin with.
And like the war machine stuff, like when you're breaking out of the jail and stuff, like when you go into like a wall or something, you're not just like in a vent. You're in a vent with 1,000 pipes and steam, and here's the thing, and and they've got nuts and they've got bolts. Like it's very intricate.
Yeah. And
I think that makes it look better with time.
And it holds up because it's also because it's meant to be grimy, so you can kind of get away with stretching it a little further because like it's Nazis in war, which is it's great. Not the Nazis in the war is not great. The video game is great.
You're right. Right.
I also really love their gun designs. They're stupid.
I'm
super here for how dumb and duct taped and crappy some of them are. I love that crap.
They do fire so well.
They do fire well. The game is. A game is good. I kind of forgot how much internal monologue BJ has in that first game, too. He's very almost philosophical in the beginning, especially, which is weird, but fits somehow. It's great. If you haven't played it.
I remember I was saying just a couple weeks ago when I was playing it, like major Sin City vibes.
Yes.
Where he's almost like just narrating the story himself, and it's kind of like that noir self-reflection, and I totally dig it, and I'd completely forgotten about it.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was so chatty Cathy in the beginning, especially. Also, this is giving me an opportunity. There's a choice that happens in the very beginning of the game, at the end of essentially the prologue, where you can choose which of your two war friends to save. And I chose Fergus my first time through, and I never chose Wyatt. And I had no idea that if you choose Wyatt, you pick locks for the rest of the game. What? Video games are so stupid. And the way he picks the locks, he just jams his knife into the top, rips off the top, and jams the things in. Like BJ. Just kick the door open, bro.
That's why BJ's awesome.
Man. He's the greatest. He's great.
He's very good.
That video game is great. What are you playing?
BJ for Smash.
Yeah, all right.
I'm playing Tomb Raider. I'm playing It Takes Two. And
I've heard that's fun.
Divot Derby.
What is Divot Derby? Tell me about this Divot
That's
Derby.
that mode in the PGA.
Oh,
2K game.
that's the Tour de Golf nonsense. I
played
really
it
play
a bit. It's really fun. It's
Is it
really
fun?
different. It's really short. I think a lot of people would be there for that. So the way that it works is, it's like speed golf. You all get put on a tee. You don't see everybody. You just see yourself. And they do a little countdown. 3, 2, 1. And then they blow the horn. And when you blow the horn, you just see all the trails of all the golfers that you're playing with. Like
that's cool.
They're all different colors.
Got it.
And they all just go. And it's like a round robin type thing. So you do multiple rounds. And it really doesn't matter about score at all, which kind of upset me when I first got into it. But what it is a race to get in the cup.
Oh, okay.
And there are limited numbers of spots, just like in golf. Like you got to make the cut each hole.
Okay,
so,
but it doesn't matter how many strokes it takes you to get in?
Not at all.
It's just as fast as you can golf?
I was hoping that like if you scored better, you would like leapfrog somebody that scored less.
No.
But you don't. It's just whoever gets in first.
I can do this. I can play this golf.
Everybody can.
Oh, hell, let's
Everybody
go.
Can. This is super casual.
Let's go.
But here's the thing. So you see all the trails of the golf balls, and they're all different colors, which is a really a cool look. They'll all be like blue, yellow, pink, red, purple, right? And you see them in real time as they're going. You keep hitting, and then when you get to the green, there are just balls being putted and chipped at the hole from all different directions. Yeah, I took a GIF of one where the first hole I played, there was, or at least the hole that I took this clip from, the cut was 17. So I think there's like 30 or 35 of us on the hole.
Okay.
And you had to be top 17 to advance. So I go to hit, and like right now there's like 3 people in, and like 3 seconds later it's like 15 people are in.
Oh,
because
okay, yeah.
10 balls just all go in right at the same time. Like right after the other. It's just like tap, 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 tap. So you get that chaotic sense of urgency.
That's what I want. I gotta go. Like Fall Guys. Which makes Fall Guys.
playing the game harder, because you can't sit there and line up your shot and and if you like get nervous, you this mode is set to the pro difficulty. So if you screw up your shot one or the other, you go flying way left or way right, or and it makes it harder. So you kind of get that urgency get going. It's really fun. I had some disconnects, which weren't as fun. They also set a timer. So like once the first ball goes in, it's like top 17 or whoever gets in like 30 seconds or 10 seconds.
Wow. Oh, they're not playing. Damn.
So, yeah. So they'll be like, here you go. You got to do it. And I made one putt. The best I got was third.
That's pretty good.
I made a putt to get into the final round in the last second.
Yes.
And it felt like a buzzer beater, because the commentators are also set to feel, to commentate what's happening. So like when I hit the putt, they're like, "Is he gonna make it? Is he gonna?"
Oh, that's
my God.
wild!
Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this because here's the thing: I'm bad at golf. Okay, I'm bad at golf. I'm bad at bowling. I'm bad at all sports that require patience and precision. Okay?
Wii Sports.
I am very good at judo. I grab the person and they come down with me, and hopefully I land on top of them. That's why I'm very good at that. So this is the kind of golf that I can get down with, because it requires limited precision and a little bit of crazy. That's me.
And there is that, like, do you just swing as fast as you can, like go full out speed?
Let's go.
Or do you take a couple seconds to line up what you're doing And like, do you gain an advantage by hitting a better shot than somebody who's just hitting it forward?
This is the Fall Guys version of Battle Royale, right? And
Pretty
in
much.
some ways, this is the Tetris version of Battle Royale, where it's not always about playing perfect Tetris. Sometimes it's about playing faster Tetris and putting the pressure on somebody, right? It doesn't have to be beautiful. It just has to win. This is the kind of Battle Royale I was built for. Okay?
Yep.
I'm here for this. And I'm terrible at golf. Let's go. This will be so dumb. I should probably install it.
It's a fun mode. It's a
Yeah.
real fun mode.
Yeah.
It got me playing the game again. And you know, as they continue with that franchise going forward, like that mode has some merit. Like you could see
Yeah.
it kind of be, you know, lived in and get more stuff as it goes down the line.
It's fun to see silly in a serious game.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just
definitely.
fun. That's like, I love that. Like, you expect it in something like Mario Golf, right? But it's fun to see them, and especially with the announcers. I can't believe they left that in. That's money. Oh, I'm
Yeah, it's like
excited.
all new stuff. It's like they recorded new lines for this.
I love it.
It Takes Two, I was excited for because it's getting really, really great reviews.
Is this the Joseph Ferris joint?
It is.
Okay. I can't hear the name of his games without thinking about him flipping the bird at a camera.
Of course, nobody can.
I can't. That's the way it is.
It's EA Access. I don't know if it's in the trial for Game Pass or not because I had pre-ordered it, but Kevin actually got it for review.
Oh, cool.
So I'm just playing off that with my game share partner. I sat down and played it with my wife. We played through the first boss, a little bit past the first boss, and just through the first boss, I can tell you a few things definitively.
Okay.
Definitively, this is one of the better co-op games in design that I've played in a recent memory.
Okay.
Or, you know, in a long time. Just right off the bat, like the puzzles are very intuitive, but not easy. And they require like some thought. And that's just like from the start of the game, you know. But the platforming requires an aptitude level from a gamer that like is just above what my wife is capable of.
Probably
And-
my kids could play with me, but probably not my husband. I've heard this from multiple people where it's like, it's expecting you to understand how video games work in a nuanced
it's expecting
way.
you to have, you know, 15 years of Mario under your belt. The platforming, particularly, it's not challenging. It's not like Celeste or Hollow Knight or anything like that, but it does require somebody that can manipulate a camera on one stick, direction on the other stick, and do actions at the same time. And
Yes.
as gamers, we take that for granted.
We just do it. It's just something we do because we've
A lot of people
learned
can't
through time.
do that.
People who don't play video games frequently
Yeah.
can't. My husband really does struggle with stuff like that, and it's not because he's bad at playing video games. It's just that he doesn't practice those kinds of games, right?
Mm-hmm.
He plays MLB The Show and like one or two other games. So my son, though, he could probably do it with me.
Yeah.
He could play that with me.
So I pulled her off the game because Kevin was like, Kevin's wife plays games, and she's like, this is too hard for me.
Huh.
My wife, there was so much frustration of me just like staring. I did take a clip. There's a switch that you've got to jump on, and she just jumped over it, and then back over it, and then back over it again, and then she went to jump on it, and she landed, and then she fell off into the water, and then we had to do the whole thing over again.
I would have kicked my husband out of the room. We've discussed my patience level, but that would be
It's difficult.
an evening ruiner for us.
There's one. It's a platform to cross a section of water. It moves, and then what happens is when it gets to the end, you have to run, jump, do a double jump, and then do a dash. So it's AX. Simple.
It's a me, Mario. But
My
except
wife
no,
died 10 times. And me trying to explain to her how to double jump. As soon as she left the platform, it was A. Like she just smashed the button. Over and over again.
That's not uncommon. Like we're gonna.
And then I was like, no, you gotta jump and then wait for the middle of the arc, hit jump again.
Yeah.
And then she got that. And then I was like, now hit dash. And then she would dash to the left and fall, dash to the right and fall. Because she couldn't control the camera while trying to hit the buttons.
To direct the body. Yes.
Yeah.
We really don't think about like how we wrangle these like types of inputs. We just kind of do it, and it's all muscle memory. And it's funny to watch someone who funny is a strong word. It can be very frustrating, but it's interesting to watch somebody who doesn't know that language of video games like without thinking. It's it's like my kids always say to me, Mom, how do you just do that with Tetris? And it's like, I've played hundreds of hours of this. My brain has just finally figured out a use for the part that I'm not using, and it just plays Tetris.
Absolutely.
We just play video games.
So I pulled her off. I was like, look, we're going to pull out the N64. We're going to play Mario Golf.
Yeah, you got
and
that.
And I'm going to find somebody else to play It Takes Two with me.
That's smart.
The performance of the game, especially the fact that it was running in split screen, stellar. Like,
awesome to hear.
And
okay,
the resolution is good. It's not like it got dumbed down. It's not like it's a simple game. It's not. It's a very cartoony game. If there is not a Be Our Guest, Beauty and the Beast, like extravaganza moment in this game, I'm going to be sorely let down because...
Is it setting it up? Does it feel that way?
Well, like, all right, so the game is about divorce. You've got these two parents that are going to divorce each other. Daughter's super sad. She cries like on this divorce book, magically wakes the book to life. The book is comically bad, like stereotype of like, I don't know, like Spanish, Mexican. You know, he's like, oh, you've got to find some love. You know, he does stuff like that. It's like Carlos Mencia type stuff.
Damn it, Ferris.
But like all of these things are coming to life, like the vacuum's coming to life. And it's like this, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, because you're these tiny little dolls and you're going through wires and everything's real big. And the only thing that I can keep thinking is like, we've got to get to the kitchen because I want the candelabra and the tea kettle and the cup.
Dancing.
I want them to dance. I want to hear the song because because it seems right at home in this space.
In this weird Disney movie about divorce.
Yeah.
Joseph Ferris is an interesting character.
I think I saw on Twitter, I think he might voice the Mexican book.
That would not...
Which
that
is
surprises
totally...
me. That surprises me 0%. Donnie,
I took a clip of this one where he was telling them that they have to... oh, man. I think he said collaborate, but he does it with like this Eddie Guerrero shimmy and like this gyrating...
No. It's like, okay.
He's like, you guys must work together. It is very like Eddie Guerrero, like Latino heat, like wrestling character.
It feels like they're evoking the shitty, like the bad nonsense, like that kind of like personification was in like Shadow of the Damned. Right?
Yeah,
like it's been a minute since we've had something so egregious. Like Shadow of the Damned was egregious. It was egregious in every way, and that was part of the point. But I haven't heard a bit like that.
It's a different world.
Yeah, I haven't heard a bit like that in quite a few years.
I would imagine a lot of people don't take well to this, but the game sitting Metacritic like a 91, I think.
Damn, people like it.
People really like it. And
Joseph
like
Ferris
I said,
did something good.
The puzzles are very good, and they do require cooperation. Like there are lots of reactions. Like you have to hit something so your partner can run and jump onto something while you are going to aim something to catch them somewhere else. Like it's not just like a, hey, you hold this switch and I'll hold this switch and we'll do it. They're way more detailed than that.
It sounds like a natural evolution of A Way Out. Like going from
which
what
I
he
didn't
learned.
like.
I didn't love it either. I thought it was too slow in plotting, and there was a numerous issues.
The dialogue wasn't very good. Like, yeah, that was
so many issues. But it feels like he like at least figured out how to make the game fun to play, even if he.
I think this is far better than that.
All right, well, then I might, because I wasn't going to play this because I was like, I didn't like A Way Out. I'm over it. I don't want to deal with your nonsense.
No, this is better, way better than that.
I got nothing.
This
but
is
time.
real good.
I got nothing but time.
I think Nathan heard my call. I put out a call to find somebody to replace my wife. So I'm going to try to schedule out a time with me and Nathan. And me and Nathan will be the divorced couple and try to figure this out.
Yeah, you let me know how that works out. I want to play this game with you, but my work is a hot nightmare, and I think
that's the hard problem with multiplayer games. Like, if I'm not going to play with somebody that's in my house, like trying to find a scheduled time to do it, we'll see. I'm not. Yeah. I don't have the highest of hopes that I will see the ending of this game, but
maybe I will try to employ the help of my 11-year-old son.
I might have to do the same.
My kid would play it with me because he's like, but I don't really appreciate that he's been showing me up in almost every way lately. Like, he's getting better at video games than me. He ran faster than me on the treadmill this week. I'm not feeling good about myself right now. It's because of an 11-year-old boy. So maybe I don't ask him to hang out. I don't know.
Every parent reaches that point where their kids are just better than them.
At certain things. I'm still way funnier than him and way cooler. I own a motorcycle. Come on, kid. You can't compete with that. Mm-hmm. All right. We've talked headsets, we've talked video games. Let's talk about indie games, because that's why we delayed recording this show to today. ID at Xbox, with the help of Twitch, because they did kind of a co-presentation on this.
Yeah.
Hosted the Indie Game Showcase. This thing was kind of a mess. Let's just get that out of the way up front. It was a little long. It was
a little long.
It was 4 hours of some
this is longer than like the Snyder Cut.
It was, yeah. Like I watched. I'm going to tell you a secret. Work was stressful. I couldn't watch it during the middle of the day. I got done with work. I exercised. I put myself in the bathtub, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch through this, thinking it would be an hour. I was like, I'm going to just watch these trailers.
That's so funny that you thought it was going to be an hour, because there were a lot of people in the Twitch chat, and there were a lot of people just on Twitter that they thought they were getting an indie direct. It's amazing how Nintendo has conditioned video game fans how to expect marketing.
Yeah. Well,
because if you do anything else that's not that, people get mad.
I won't say that I was angry. I was not upset.
That's good.
I want more video games, right? Always. But I did have a crunch enough that I was like, I'm just going to have to go through their YouTube and hit every trailer. That's what I ended up doing. And if folks, I watched some of the showcase, they could use some work on tightening up their presentation.
Well, unlike you, I had it up the entire day as I was working. I watched the entire thing, and I took copious shorthand notes.
I have little notes too. Yeah, I have notes.
But yeah, since we're talking about the presentation,
let's
I was going to save this to the end. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of at a loss because I think it was good. It reminded me it was like a comparison of. I would compare it to like what Nintendo has done with like Treehouse Live.
Yes, that's a very apt presentation comparison. It's long, it's slightly more detailed than you expect, but it's just Nintendo's better at it.
Nintendo's better at it. And I think I think it's fine. I think it's okay to allow somebody to have this. There are those people who are like, I don't care about them or the people. I just want the games.
Fine.
And that's available for you on YouTube, on the blog. Like, you don't have to watch the show. So the show doesn't have to be that for you.
Agree.
But that said, I don't know if this showcase accomplished the goal.
I think 4 hours of indie games is a big ask. And I think the smarter thing to do is to chunk this into other...
middle of a day on a Friday.
On a Friday. And you're keeping people's attention on a bunch of games that may not be for them for this long of a period of time. It's better to chunk
that's kind of like my point. Let me ask you this. What do you think the goal of this was? Like, what was the goal? They're like, hey, we're going to work with Twitch. We're going to do this indie game thing. Like, was the goal to bring a bigger awareness to indie games coming to Xbox?
I think the goal is to bring a bigger awareness to the fact that Xbox cares about that enough to have the ID at Xbox division. Like, look, we care too, just like Nintendo does. Because Nintendo cares.
Funny.
Nintendo makes it clear.
Nintendo and PlayStation, I think, do a very good job of curating and selecting the indie games that they want to associate with their brand.
Yes.
And I think a clear difference that you can make, and I'm making a really big assumptions off of one show, but I don't think it's just the show. I think there's somewhat of a history here, a pattern building with Xbox where I think it's more about quantity.
Yes, it has been since the 360. It has been
how many
much.
Like, it's not so much about how great they are. No. You don't hear them talking about like the reviews or the ratings. We're focusing on 3 of them that they think are just excellent games. It's not about that at all. It's we've got 100 games to show you. We've got 80 games to show you. And this has been a thing for a while. And because, like I was saying, if the goal is to raise awareness of indie games, like I don't think they did. And I think that's crazy to say that, because one of the things that I took a note of when the show started in the first 15 minutes, there was about, I think, 12,000 people watching the live stream on Twitch.
Did it drop as the hours went on? Aggressively?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But, like, here's the other thing. 12,000 isn't a lot.
No.
Like, that's not a lot of people. And I realize that they'll catch people at the blog, they'll catch people at the VOD. Like, I understand. I'm not trying to take, I'm not trying to make a conclusion based off of that alone. I'm just trying to get a representation here. At the first interview, like after that first sizzle reel, it dropped down to like 8.
Yep.
And by the end, it was like 5.
So this goes back to my point. This is better served chunked into bigger presentations, like Sony and Nintendo sometimes do it. Sony's actually better at this even than Nintendo. Nintendo chunks it and keeps it short. That's one method, right? Sony chunks it and puts it in their bigger presentations. There's more people watching then. If what you really want is to bring attention to these games, you have to get them in front of people when more people are watching. And then maybe you grab somebody. But 4 hours of indie games, is a lot to ask, even for people who love video games. Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, it's
And
a big
I
ask.
think,
And
like, if 12,000 people found out about a game that they wanted today, like, that's not enough.
that doesn't move a needle enough.
It really doesn't. Like, when you remove yourself from our ecosystem and our Twitter, and that was another thing that I was going to say, is I'd be very interested to know how many podcasts and outlets are going to cover
Probably.
this in depth as we are.
Right.
Because when I was on Twitter and I was tweeting about some of my favorite games and stuff, like, I kind of felt alone. And
Yeah.
I follow a lot of Xbox channels. I was like, where is everybody? Like, it really seemed like everybody took the I'll wait for the blog post later.
Well, when people started hearing it was going over an hour, I don't blame them. You know what I mean? I think this was probably a miss from Microsoft.
I heard it from the start.
Did you? That's interesting. Some people just don't want all their indie games in one place. You know what I mean? Some people want that chunked into bigger presentations. And I do think that's something Sony does better. And I think Nintendo's method of, like, we're having an indie direct, but it's 27 minutes long and that's it. That's very smart too.
The other thing that I would bring up using the Treehouse connection, this felt very disjointed. And,
I agree.
And the word that I'd like to use is maybe like lacking.
It's awkward. It was awkward and directionless. Those would be
Just
the
like
words I
lacked
would
like a, I don't know the right word. I was going to say like not being like as genuine
use.
as a Treehouse would feel, because with Treehouse, there are people, Nintendo employees that you've known for years that are talking and you know their opinions. With this event, there were random Twitch streamers. Some of them were good. Some of them were bad.
I agree. I watched a couple of clips. Yeah.
The two girls that hosted the majority of the event, I would classify the bad category.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to overly criticize them. They're very popular streamers, way more popular than I am. So they're doing something right. But the questions that they would ask, their commentary to some of the developers or the trailers that they were seeing seemed like they were ill-prepared, unprepared, completely unaware of what they were looking at.
Or just there's also, you could use the word overwhelmed, because it's so much. Like, this is the problem when you dump so much and you ask someone to MC a show. This is a lot of freaking video games, man. This was a lot.
So I watched the whole thing. A lot of times their commentary was more along the lines of, oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
Like, why is it great? What makes it great? What do you know, or you'll get a lot of, what was your inspiration for making this game? Like, dive deeper than that.
But it's already a 4-hour show.
I know.
You can't. That's the problem. They couldn't.
But they were doing the interview. I take that. So like one of the showings of the thing was Soup Pot.
Yeah, I love that. I love that little trailer.
Well, here's the thing. I think as the game, I mean, to be all honest, I think the game looks not very good. But the interview was stellar because Steve was doing a very good job of being excited and interviewing the developers.
Yes,
we get to learn about them. And one of the things that was rampant through the whole show was there seemed to be a delay on whoever was producing, because it was live. They were going to multiple people live. So there were a lot of people talking over each other, pausing because they didn't know when to talk. So there, even with that, in that interview, Steve did a very good job. Sure. I think the guy that interviewed the 12 Minutes dev did a very good job. Not everybody did that. So I don't think it's just long, and I don't think it was overwhelmed.
No, that's fair. Some people are just not good at interviews, right? And I think this is something that the idea of Xbox...
If you're going to do long-form stuff...
Then get good people who are good at interviews.
You need somebody that kind of cares.
Fair. I don't even know if it's a matter of caring and just getting anxious or
caring is maybe too far.
Caring is the wrong word. I think some people are just not... They don't have
somebody that's
that
more
skill.
invested.
Or just
more
has
prepared.
that skill. Yeah, that has that particular skill.
Like the whole time I was sitting there thinking, I was like, how much better would this be if just popular Xbox, influencer, like if Paris was talking about something like that, like it would be better, because I think he'd be more invested and would scratch a little bit beneath the surface and not be so. It felt like they were reading cue cards at times.
I'm kind of glad I didn't watch the whole 4 hours, because that stuff's painful, and I think
it was cringeworthy at times.
The 4 hours worth of indie stuff that largely leaned that way is a miss. And do I think that they could do it better? Absolutely. Do I think they will? Probably. If you're going to do a showcase like this on indie games only, though, I think you need to start keeping them short. An hour is probably your max, or else you're just
agree
you're
with you.
spending more to produce than you're getting back out of the loop.
I agree with you, and I don't. There's a part of me that says I don't want to because I don't think that everything has to be the same.
I don't think so either. But
I've said it in the past with Inside Xbox. There's ways to have your cake and eat it too. You can do what Nintendo does. You have your little showcase, and then you say, "Hey, now we're live, and we're gonna go talk to people." You got to do both, but like doing it like this was a mistake. Also, I have one major, not major. I have a criticism for Xbox. I hate Xbox on this part.
Oh snap!
Two of them. If you're going to talk about indie games that you've already announced, then you have to bring something new that nobody's seen before.
Or a date, for God's sake.
That's
pick
more or less
one.
what I mean. Like, if you're showing a game that you've already showed, and you need to date it or give it a window, you have to give somebody else a reason for watching. Otherwise, you're going to lose people the next time you tell them to come watch. There was way too many games that we saw E3 2 years ago, 3 years ago that still didn't get dates, still didn't get updates, or even get like a new trailer, like a new thing. There was no new thing.
I do not love that.
The second part of it, every time Xbox speaks, I brought this up in the lead up on the Xbox One X launch, or the Xbox Series X launch that I thought was a mistake. If you're going to talk about indie games at the start of the show, you need to say, we're going to talk about all the games that are in Game Pass. They kept mixing in Game Pass announcements, and as somebody who watched this entire thing, it was hard to keep up with what was coming to Game Pass and what wasn't until the very end when they closed with it. And I'm happy that they did, but I think in the presentation, it would resonate more and stick with more people if you said, hey, for our next section of games, they're all coming to Game Pass. Yep. Let's talk about the Game Pass indies right now. And I think you should do that at the top of the show.
Yep. Open the show with the banger. If you're going to do a 4-hour show, you can't sprinkle them through and then expect everybody to stick around to the end. It was so weird
because they were like in banners. They weren't mentioned. They were on the side.
It was rough.
I pre-ordered a game, and I'm very excited. So don't get me wrong. I pre-ordered a game that's coming to Game Pass, and at the time I pre-ordered, I didn't know. That's a huge mistake.
That's a mistake.
What do you do in Xbox? That's not good. Like, that's not good. Now, do I care? No, because I wanted to support the developer. I'm just making the point to make the point. That's kind of how hard it was to keep track of where everything was landing.
Yeah, I agree. I saw the tweet after, and I was like, cool, that's the information that I want.
A lot of people are very excited about that.
And that's a great list, and we'll get to that list at the end. Let's step through a couple things. I mean, this was a long show. We're gonna do a wrap up. We'll do our best here. There are a couple of games in this first list here that they open with. Exomecha, The Ascent, Omni, and The Wild at Heart and Void Train were the chunk they kind of opened with.
Yep.
I already was excited to play The Ascent. I like that style of game. I'm into it. I think it's cheeky, humor-wise, and kind of.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna play Cyberpunk after this game comes out. Like,
is this what you wanted?
Kind of like, yeah. Kinda. Every time I see it, I'm like, man, I'm very excited for The Ascent. Also coming to Game Pass, and I really, really want to play it. So, and I do think today's trailer was entertaining.
That was a fun trailer. I watched the trailer and I laughed. I chuckled. I was like, this is good. This is what.
It was focused on co-op. So while we didn't get a date, they did bring something new. They showed something new. It was worth watching.
That's good stuff. I also really was drawn in by Omni, which is like. It's this like exploratory platformer with a lot of traversal stuff. Yeah, puzzle game, but there's a lot of traversal mechanics in there, and they showed a lot of those.
Flying, kind of like a speed dash. You've got this beautiful. You've got this wand stick thing that you could ride. There was like a lot of skateboarding moments, but there's a lot of puzzles. Yeah,
and I'm into that for people who aren't, but I like the mix of puzzles and traversal. It's not quite a platformer, but it's got it's cool. It's like very neat and feels unique. The other one of this group that I'm way into is The Wild at Heart, which is, it evokes the art style of, there was a Halloween game whose name now escapes me because of course I didn't write it down, but it looks like Pikmin. It's Pikmin. I'm so here for it.
We had Chris Sumsky from Moonlight Kids that makes this game on the Xbox Empire. Shortly before you joined the show. Well, I've been talking with these devs for years. I've been in their Discord. I'm going to look up something real quick.
That's why he's clicking. While he's looking that up, the game that I wanted to evoke in my brain is Costume Quest. It has the art style of the characters is very similar, but it is Pikmin. Like
the thing, every time I
core
see that game, the thing that I can't unsee or can't not think about, and I think I brought this up to Chris, and I don't think he even had the correlation. But if you've ever read the child book Where the Wild Things Are,
oh, absolutely, yes, it evokes that immediately.
This game is that in motion, and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful, and the fact that it is a Pikmin game speaks to like my Nintendo-ness and liking those types of games. And this is what I love from indie games, is they give us the games that we're not getting elsewhere. And Kevin is a gigantic Pikmin fan. That's a game a lot of people associate with him, and I had to have him like see this game. Yeah. I'm so excited because, like I'm in that too cool for school hipster area where I feel so early on this game.
Yeah. Because
this game was showed during the pre-show 2 E3s ago. And I reached out to them and I was like, guys, this game looks amazing. I want you to come on my podcast. I want to talk to you. And I was so happy today to see so many people like, what is this game? It looks so good.
And that one's out in May on the 20th.
It's out May 20th. It's $25. It launches into Game Pass.
Let's
go. You have no excuse not to play it. I totally bought it. I want to support them. They as I told Kevin, they need our money more than EA does.
Sure.
I want to buy a copy of the game, and I hope people. I've already played the demo on Steam. They released the demo. I've already played it. It plays great. I did get a little inside info because they flashed the enhance for Series X badge. The game is targeting 120 frames per second on Series X. It will run in 1440p in Series S.
Okay.
And one of the things from the interview that I brought up to them when we first talked is I asked them if they thought it was cool. At the time, they couldn't tell me it was coming to Game Pass. I tried.
Sure.
I tried so hard. And I was like, one of the things I asked them, I was like, don't you think it's cool that like you could put your game on Game Pass and like people could stream it? Like as a developer and a programmer, like you've got people that are doing this sort of code. Isn't that cool? Like just the idea? And they, I would say he dodged the answer. He gave me like a non-answer. Well, today after it was out, I was like, now? And they're like, we think it's totally cool.
Yeah, right. It's rad. Yeah, of course. I'm glad that you got at them, and that's fun. This is the kind of stuff that makes these things good, and I'm really excited about this game because I didn't know about it, and I love me some Pikmin-esque gameplay. I love that strategic gameplay with
you get a little vacuum.
Party.
They're like bees and the different enemies. It's fun stuff.
I'm very here for this. I'm very excited about it. They dumped a sizzle reel in next, which is a lot of stuff. Nothing that is was floating my particular boat.
I've got a few.
All right, hit me. Let's hear it.
Never Yield I played today. There's a demo on Steam. I downloaded it. Never Yield was the one that started the sizzle reel. It's really cool. It's a Runner. It's like Runner 3. I love Runner. That is a series. I've got all of them on Switch. It's very much like that's very bright and colorful. And so far, I played through the demo. You can play the entire thing on a D-pad.
Oh, nice.
Everything is just mapped to the D-pad, which I thought was cool. Other games from this that I thought were good, that I'm interested in knowing more. Little Witch in the Woods. A lot of times I will describe games as like for people on the podcast. So Little Witch in the Woods is a hashtag Rebecca game. Echo Generation is hashtag Lucas Kevin game, and I actually am really excited about that. When I played the demo, that was in the Xbox Summer Demo event last E3. Yeah.
Yep.
So I really liked that one. I wanted to say Airport for Aliens Ran by Dogs was an Elaine game. I have not seen a game that looks so bonkers.
Oh, yeah, let's go. All right, let's go. I'll look that up. Also, that name makes me feel like I just dropped acid.
This is why indie games are great. Like, only an indie dev could ever bring this. Like, nobody would actually greenlight anything like that.
You also have go ahead. Well, I was going to say, you also have Griftlands in here. Griftlands has been out on PC for a minute. It is a deck buildy type of game, which is Garrett's joint, or John, if you're from the Philly area, and I am. I also really like games like this, and Griftlands seems very, very, very interesting.
And I like Alchemist Cutie from just a first impression. I thought it looked cool. I want to know more type of thing.
Yep. I think it was a good. I mean, it's a sizzle reel. It's a sizzle reel.
Sizzle reel.
After that, we got Moonglow Bay. This one's interesting. It's got this like pixely Minecrafty look.
Looks like The Tourist.
Yeah, okay, it does kind of look like The Tourist. You're not wrong. It's both single player and co-op fishing, and they dropped this like it almost like morose story beat towards the end of the trailer.
That's true.
So it looks like it could go places.
They did a whole dev interview on this. It's
Yep.
Like an action adventure fishing RPG,
Yep.
and it kind of has it's really more of like a sandboxy, kind of like a choose your own fun type of thing.
It's got a Minecraft vibe. It really does.
it
It's
does.
there. It's floating on the surface. In the next group, one that I really loved, and I realized that I like racing things. Art of Rally is like what they describe as a minimalist racing game, and it's cool and it looks
Rally Drift.
great. I'm really curious to see how it feels to play it, because if it feels good, I love the idea of like kind of weird racing games, or not like super racing games always end up being super realistic. They've become the benchmark by which we show off technology, right? So the idea of just distilling it down into just like the fun rally stuff, I want to play it. I want to check it out.
On Steam, it is currently rated as overwhelmingly positive.
Yes, it's supposed to be very, very good.
Yeah, a lot of people really, really like it.
In this next group, Narita Boy is like... It's got like this 80s techno pixel vibe. I'm way into it.
It's out next week. I can't wait to play it.
So into it.
Craftopia? Did you see the trailer for
I
this
didn't
thing?
see Craftopia. I was going to bring up Soup Pot, which you discussed before, but tell me about
Craftopia. Is Breath of the Wild-ish.
Okay. I've played a lot of those lately.
But also, what's the other one that Garrett played like a bajillion?
Genshin Impact?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that and the other thing, but like there's crafting and like... I don't really know what it is, but it seems like it's really popular on PC. There's like YouTube videos of all these people doing crazy things with it. Like, it had a crazy trailer.
It was. I did not get to watch that one. But that's a PC joint if I've ever seen one too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Soup Pot. I know to you, Soup Pot evokes Cooking Mama for me, but without Mama. Without Mama, and I'm okay with Mama's scary. I don't like Mama.
Well, they have a lot of procedurally things that they talked about in the interview that was crazy. Like, if you drop food on the floor, you have like 15 seconds to pick it up and blow it off, and you can still use it.
So wild. That's wild.
But if
That's
you
fun.
throw food, I think they said the food yells at you or something. Like, it makes a noise. Yeah.
Is Mama in the food? All right, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play the video game. I don't even care. Look, I like weird. I like.
Yeah,
weird.
that's weird. That's a weird game.
I love weird.
Hello Neighbors 2 did a whole breakdown on how their AI learns from how you were dealing with it. And I thought it was cool to see some of the dev logic. I'd be interested in seeing how much it makes its way into the game.
Yep.
I would never plan to play it, but it's coming to Game Pass, so I'll give that a try.
Demon Turf is another one from this list that looks fun. That is a platformer game that looks fun.
I think that game looks dope. That was one of my
I'm way
highlights.
into this. Yeah, this one it grabs my attention. It's kind of cheeky, silly.
It's like Doom 64, but a 3D platformer.
I don't know what's happening, and I don't care. Right?
That's awesome.
Do you ever just watch a trailer? I was sitting in the bathtub. I had just wrecked myself on the stupid bike. I'm watching this trailer. I'm like, am I okay? Am I dehydrated?
It looks so good because it's a 3D platformer, but everything is in 2D, but also retro, but
it's
not. But it's like Paper Mario, the 3D Paper Mario game.
My brain was not all the way able to wrap around it, which made me go, I have to play that. Because the games that get my attention like that are always games I want to play. The platforming looked good.
Yeah, it did.
It looked tight. So
it's published by Playtonic.
Yep.
That's a good little sign of approval.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Let's talk about Nobody Saves the World, which is Drinkbox's new sort of action RPG joint. Procedurally generated dungeons, but not a roguelike.
Not a roguelike, yeah.
These are the Guacamelee
Every dungeon
folks.
has like a theme, but if you die, it'll remix.
Yes.
And it'll give you a chance to do a new build and try it again.
These are the Guacamelee folks for people who maybe don't know who Drinkbox is. This looks cool. I liked the art style. Look, I want to play the
It looks rad. It sounds nuts. It sounds
bananas.
Complex in a way that I don't know if I want, but at the same time, I'm not sure that I don't want it.
Right.
I'm intrigued. If they do a good job of telling me what's happening, I'm for it.
Yes, I agree.
If it gets needlessly complex, then I'll probably bounce. But
if it's straightforward, and I think Drinkbox has done a good job in their previous endeavors. Me too, and Guacamelee too, and I think they do a good job of making complex things easy to digest as time goes on. So I think they could do this, and I'm with them on this. This one was bananas to drop in the middle of a show. Astria Ascending, which is a JRPG ass name if I've ever heard one, and that's what it is. This thing has a pedigree. There's a ton of people who've worked on Final Fantasy projects, Nier and Bravely Default in the past, and this has got a Vanillaware vibe to its characters, right?
Reminded me kind of like Dragon's Crown.
That's exactly what I was going for, yes. Except without overly offensive boobs, I guess. I mean, it was
so far.
less. Yeah, for now. For what they showed on an indie showcase.
It's the first time we've ever seen it. Give it time.
I don't know when this is coming out, but it is going to launch into Game Pass, and then it means I'm going to play it. So
We'll
you're
see.
not. Donnie doesn't
Probably
play
not.
RPGs. Okay. Of this next group, Lawn Mowing Simulator.
I almost did a spit take.
I laughed so hard.
They did like the Forza slow pan over the John Deere tractor, and like you saw the logo, just like a Ferrari during E3, and I just busted out laughing.
I have never been so delighted to see a lawnmower in my entire life. And I'm just like, I go to show my husband, he's like, can you mow crop circles? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to try.
I'm sure you can. Out of that group, there's a turn-based strategy RPG called Lost Eidolons.
Okay.
It's like Fire Emblem, but during the Crusades. And kind of I want to try it.
Yeah, I'll play that.
It looks good.
I am excited about things like that. Things that are like different but familiar. That's the words I want to use.
Yeah.
Let's see. They moved into showing us Among Us. They gave us a trailer for the new map, which will launch on Xbox. I don't care. I care in that it's a big deal that it's coming to console. I just don't care.
Yeah.
The one I do care about is by Devolver, which is Death's Door. Look, they ran this trailer of these burbs, crows, just chilling in their little bird world.
The Crow.
Just chilling, birds. The dude's watching the bird at the guard post is watching a TV show. He nods to the other bird with a sword in his back who goes through a metal detector and he just waves him on. And then he ends up in a isometric action RPG that kind of resembles Hades. It's probably
Hades. I never even. It's not a roguelike.
It's not a roguelike, but it immediately evokes Hades look and feel.
That's so funny that you said that because I never even thought Hades. You know what I was thinking? Hyper Light Drifter.
Okay, fair enough. It's in the same, but it is that isometric look. It's got a lot of movement similarity to Hades. I really want to play it.
I do too. It was a highlight of the day for me. It's a cool art style. It's a cool take. Like, this is crazy because usually every time I see Devolver, I go absolutely nuts.
Right.
My name,
right.
Eat the Hype, is from
Devolver.
from
their nonsense. Yep.
I love Devolver nonsense. But this game, like the trailer when it started with the birds and stuff, I was like,
I was way here for
no, this is dumb. And then they got into the action, the combat. I was like, wait a minute.
Spicy.
I need to give this game another chance. And then the dev interview, they did say it's completely solo action adventure game.
So
it's not a roguelite.
Interesting.
And they said it has a light RPG mechanic. So you can kind of tweak your character strength, speed, kind of a little bit. But it's a single player solo game.
It looks more like Hades, but like the concept is more Hyper Light Drifter. That's a very compelling combination to me. That's worth watching the trailer if you like those isometric action RPGs because that's a banger. I'm
totally playing it.
Super stupid burb with a sword. Let's go. I love Devolver's video games.
Yeah.
Second Extinction.
Yeah. This is the thing that I remember most about Second Extinction. This is one of the moments where the announcing and the commentary really detracted from the game.
Fair.
The way they set this game up, she goes, "Did you ever want to imagine what it's like to fight dinosaurs with guns?" And I was like, "That's Turok. You're explaining Turok. We've done that in video games for years, for decades."
Well, that's Ark. We've been doing this for a long time.
It's Ark.
Look, Dino Crisis. We've been fighting dinosaurs forever.
Whole chat was lighting up with all of these games that you do that. We're like, have you ever played a video game?
Yes. Have you ever? No. That's funny and terrible. But I do want to fight dinosaurs with guns. I always want to fight dinosaurs with guns. That's the thing.
So when they first showed this game, this was like, I'm never going to play it. It's out of sight, out of mind. The more they show it to me,
I know.
the more I think I'm probably going to download it and give it a try.
I know you are.
I'm not into it, but I kind of want to see.
This is coming to Game Pass on April 28th, so you don't have to wait long and you don't have to pay any additional money to do it. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not? What's the worst that can happen? Hey, Donnie, the worst that can happen is this Stalker 2 footage. Why? Stalker 2, why? Why was it so uncomfortable and weird? Why?
Stalker 2 was one of the cringiest moments I've ever seen in video game marketing. Ever. It was so bad.
I shut it off. I didn't watch the whole thing.
I know that this is a very popular PC game with a very
Stalker's
strong
good.
fan base, and they are dying for Stalker 2 news. But if
Yes.
this is the only news that you have, then it should not have been here.
It was bad.
They did a slow pan of boots,
Yep.
a jacket,
Oh, yeah.
a couple guns,
Let's go.
not even in game, just floating in an engine abstract empty space. It reminded me of The Order when you
Yes.
picked up objects and you could rotate them and look at them, except that was what they were showing. And then they ended it by talking about their customizable teeth option, where every character has their own teeth. And you can customize it.
I'm really glad that I didn't watch the full thing because I don't want to
It was real
customize
bad.
teeth. I'm excited to play Stalker 2. I just want to be clear. The first Stalker game is a very special, weird thing, and I get why that community is excited, and I get
I've
why
never
they're just
played
like,
it.
it's weird. I never finished it, but I played it, and it's great, and I like it. It's just I don't need this. Don't give me this. Just the people just want their game. Just give them their game. Stop talking about it and finish the game. You're
Yeah.
making it weird. You're making it weird.
Yeah.
You've made it weird. Teeth make
was-
it weird.
The guns and the boots, like I could not believe it because the chat for the entirety of the show, we're talking like, and this is like towards the end of the show, like 3 hours into the show, I'm telling you a constant theme for the entire show were people spamming Stalker 2.
Yeah,
And-
people are excited. Yeah.
I think at least 2 times the hosts were like, stay tuned, Stalker 2
course.
is coming.
Right.
And then you go like, here's what our boots look like. I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me.
It's weird.
I didn't like it.
I don't just. There's no reason for. Oh.
I thought it was bad. I thought it was real bad.
Yeah, I don't love it. I do not love it. There's one that got mixed into the trailers here before we like kind of finish out the rest of that stuff that's coming. It was called XO1, little drone flying.
Yeah.
Super
There were
meditative
a
for me to
few
watch.
that I think I missed.
Yeah, that's fine. This was just one that really stood out to me, and I wanted to note it. It's called XO1, and it just like it was very meditative. You're just this little drone guy. You fly. You pick up upgrades. You fly better. It's just I liked the vibe. It was very cool, and I want to play that.
One of the things that we missed, there was a game in here called Loot River.
Okay.
That was like an action game, and it looked quite good. And it's published by Superhot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
So like,
Sure.
yeah, it looked different. Like it's like this Hades-ish thing.
Yep,
But
yep,
like,
yep.
I think you were moving all of the platforms around while doing combat. And it looked like there was like some sort of puzzle element that I wasn't quite grasping, but that's what
Okay.
all of the platforms, like it was like I want to say like a braid, but like an isometric, but you were like on an island, but the island was like coming to pieces and moving them around.
That
And I was
sounds
like, what the hell is
fascinating.
happening? It was memorable because it was different.
Yeah, those are my favorite indie games, right? The ones
Yeah.
that jump out. Like we could make the argument that Death's Door has been done before, right? I think
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks cool and I want to play it, but stuff like that, like and XO1 kind of stood out for that reason. Is it complex? Not necessarily. It just gave me a vibe that I don't see anywhere else. How often do I just get to kind of cruise around as this little drone dude and like fly with the air currents
Yeah.
and like you don't get a lot of just that. It's usually that in something else, you know?
And there were people who were excited about that last Oasis game. Apparently, it's out now. It's a survival MMO.
Interesting. Those are words I don't want to play together.
Yeah, same. I was like,
No beef.
I want to
with
make
anybody
sure
who
I
wants to.
mention it
just-
for the show.
Yeah, there are people who probably want that. It's not me.
Yeah.
We got a new trailer for 12 minutes, right?
Yes.
Is that it?
It was a
this
very short trailer.
Yeah, it was short. This is the William Dafoe, Daisy Ridley. This is like the joint. This is the big beefy thing. I want to check this out. I'm interested in this. I wish I knew more about this.
I'm excited about it. I'm
Yeah.
way more beyond interested. I can't wait to play it. I want to play it right away. And the developer did say that's coming very, very, very soon. That's what he said. We didn't get a date. I was really sure we were going to get a date for this.
How
But
are-
he said we're in the final stages. We're doing QA testing. Like we're done. It's coming very, very, very soon. Is what he
They
said.
said this year, correct?
He said
they say
definitely this year.
Okay, here's my thing. Look, if you're that close, then give me a date. Like,
I agree.
Ballpark me. Come on. I hate
agree.
it. You know I hate it. Everybody who listens to the show knows how I feel about this. It makes me insane. But
I agree.
just, you're that close. It's supposed to be a big showcase. Give me
one
a
of the
date.
things, just say give a general time. Say summer.
Yeah, Q1, summer, fall. Give me something. Anything. Literally anything, dude.
Yeah. The interview was very revealing. It wasn't something I've never heard of before, but that's because I've sought out interviews that he's done elsewhere.
Yeah, you care.
But it's a very intense game. He said that he thought the game was going to be done in like 5 or 6 hours, and I guess that means that if you know everything to do, you can probably get there. But he said a lot of their playthroughs are lasting about 15 hours.
That's every Resident Evil game, right? Your first time through when you don't know how it works. It takes longer. You can mainline the thing in 2.5. You know, I think that's cool. I like that.
There's so many complexities based on like what objects you pick up and interact and what decisions you make and how they compound on others down the road. And then it just keeps looping every 12 minutes.
That sounds cool. I'm interested too. Let's see. We got 2 more things to discuss, and then we have a whole big list of Game Pass stuff, which is what should have just been. Look, okay. They gave us a gameplay demo of Last Stop, which is an Annapurna and interactive joint, which has got 3 different stories that kind of weave together, sci-fi adventure style. I'm interested in this. Everything that Annapurna has published has hit for me personally, so I'm into it. Look, I know who I am. That's what it comes down to. And then Astria Ascending had an interview, which essentially led to the Game Pass trailer that gave us this list of games that are coming to Game Pass, right?
Yes.
We're talking about like over 20 games here.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you open the show with a showstopper? This list is a good list. I mean, apparently Stalker 2 is coming to Game Pass. That's a big
I think they think Exomech and the Ascent are that.
I get it, and I get wanting to champion the devs who make these games that you're like proud of. I get that, but don't play this at the end of a 4-hour show, like you said before. Give it to me like
you're bearing the lead.
Yeah, give it to me in the top hour. Like, this is the big deal. This is a huge list. The Ascent, Little Witch in the Woods, Moonglow Bay, Narita Boy, Astria Ascending, a huge JRPG dropping into Game Pass, right? Among Us is hitting Game Pass. We knew that.
Coming to console.
Boyfriend Dungeon is a game I'm actually super interested in, and it's coming to Game Pass. It's a weird one,
cool.
but I'm here for it. Craftopia, Dead Static Drive, Edge of Eternity.
I'm here for Dead Static Drive.
They're just good. Look, this list. Recompile, Hello Neighbor 2, Library of Ruina, Art of the Rally, Nobody Saves the World, Omno, Sable, Second Extinction, soon. She Dreams Elsewhere. That one's interesting to me, actually. I'm really excited about that one. Stalker 2 is hitting Game Pass. Undungeon, Way to the Woods, and The Wild at Heart. This is a freaking great list of games.
90% of these are dated for this year. If you're interested in looking up some, I really have eyes for Dead Static Drive. I really have eyes for Recompile, Sable, She Dreams Elsewhere.
She Dreams Elsewhere is on the list. Yep.
Those are kind of my, in the Ascent. Those
if
are
you
kind
like
of
them,
my takeaways.
If you like them weird and kind of dating simmy, Boyfriend Dungeon is actually really interesting for that. They showed
Dead Static Drive is like we've seen it before at E3. It's a top-down GTA survival horror game.
Yep. Look,
it's awesome.
If the show was the games on this Game Pass list and all coming soon to Game Pass, this thing would have hit out of the park for me. There's other stuff that I want to see in a separate show. But if you want to get people excited about indie games and Game Pass at the same time, that's the list. That's what you should have shown.
One of the disjointed efforts that I think Xbox has got to figure out how to deal with is, we say it all the time as big fan customers of this brand, that they're pushing Game Pass. That is the console. That is what they're doing. It's about Game Pass. But then you have events where they don't make it about Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I think every time Xbox talks, it needs to be about Game Pass. And that doesn't mean you can not talk about things that aren't Game Pass. I just think at the top, it should be about Game Pass at the top. Just right at the top, hey, we love Game Pass, we love ID. It's like, there is a way where you reconstruct some of this show, and I think you start at the top and you're like, hey, over at ID at Xbox, we love indie games, and we love helping bring indie games to Game Pass. Here's a sizzle reel of all of the games coming this year to Game Pass. You do the sizzle reel, and then you jump into your show and you start fleshing them out.
Or split the damn thing. Give us this event and say, tune in next week And do a freaking weekly thing for a month or two.
You need to set the hook, and the hook needs to be Game Pass. And
I think that should have been the top hour of the show. I think they could have gotten away and had a great show with this list of Game Pass games and giving a little bit more, but only sticking to the Game Pass games, and then doing the non-Game Pass games in a second showing in like 2 weeks or a month. They could have crushed it if they split it.
That works, but when you split it like that, I'm afraid that so many people will not care because the Game Pass has been separated.
So many people already don't care.
That's good. That's a fair rebuttal, but I
mean?
think the Game Pass. You need the Game Pass. Like I want them to be there, and I think all of the other games get a rub by having them there. But at the same time, like just organizing them a little bit better, makes it a little easier to it makes it a little easier to eat.
Well, okay, so here's my other thing. Like, if you don't have a date, then why? Why do this? Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's where I said at the top of the show, like, what was the goal here? There's so many undated things. I think it was just like an awareness of what ID at Xbox is doing.
Sure, that's why I'm saying, split the show. But wait with the other stuff until you have a date. And if your other stuff doesn't have a date yet, mix it in at E3 at the Brig presentation.
I would have rather, if Donnie ran ID at Xbox, like if we're going that down.
Everything goes into Game Pass if it's an indie game.
Well, but what I would have done is I would have broken this entire thing up into about 4 shows.
I agree. That's
25 minutes apiece.
That's where I was kind of going, right? Give me the Game Pass excitement trailer and then give me the tune in for the next 3 weeks where every day at this time I show you stuff.
So that's what I would have kicked off at him and like, April is ID at Xbox month here at Xbox, and every Friday we're going to show you 15 new games and half of them will be coming to Game Pass. But at the same time, market all of the Game Pass games together. Don't split them up and put them together, chunk. Put them at the top. Here are the Game Pass games. Here's some other games. Tune in next week. We bring you some more Game Pass games.
Or trickle out your interviews in recordings after or something like that. Keep people excited, but don't try to hook them in for 4 hours because you didn't do it. You didn't do it. It was... I'm excited about the stuff they showed, but man, I had to dig through it. Like it was 4 hours.
And that's the problem.
It's a slog. That's a problem. And I love this shit. I really do. So, all right. So that's the indie game showcase.
Yeah. I think it was good.
It wasn't bad. So what I mean by could have been better. Yes.
Is I'm very excited for several games. I read off to you guys.
I could play 20 games on this list.
Yeah.
I've got an easy
10
20.
Or 15 games that are coming to Game Pass this year.
I've got an easy 20 on a piece of paper.
And think about if they're $20 a piece and there's 10 of them, that's $200 worth of Game Pass.
Donnie, the gnome has already sold everyone on the Game Pass.
I keep reminding people.
You're just
you need
doing
to
math.
be reminded of the value that you're getting.
I just want you to be like, look, I'm just doing math over here. That's all. It's just math.
The Wild at Heart's $25. You could pay $25 for the Wild Heart, or you could get a month of Game Pass.
You guys if you're listening to, just get the Game Pass. But they all know. These people have heard us beat this poor horse, and all its friends have been dead.
I'm going to keep beating the horse. It's going to keep happening.
Now it's like gnomes riding in horses to be beaten. That's what this podcast has become. Gnomes stealing horses that we're going to beat. All right, let's talk about a rumor that's floating around.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it, because Microsoft is buying things, so why not one more? There's some chit-chat. Bloomberg started this kerfluffle saying I think
VentureBeat started it.
Was it VentureBeat that started and Bloomberg picked it up?
Bloomberg associated Xbox, but I think VentureBeat was the first outlet that said Discord's for sale.
Discord is trying to get sold. Then Bloomberg piled on that Microsoft might be interested. I think this would actually not be a crappy move. I think it would be a smart move.
First, I'm not sure they're for sale. Discord is about to go public.
Yes. So
I think what they're listening to bids, I think is what's happening.
I agree. I don't know that this is actually going to happen, but it's fun to speculate. So let's just speculate that Microsoft does this. The probability of this actually happening, I would go under 50% chance. We'll see how their IPO goes.
And Bloomberg said that, the Wall Street Journal said that Microsoft is exclusively in negotiations. So it's basically like, you can buy us or we're going to go public. And that the price tag could be over $10 billion.
I would not be surprised. I legitimately would not be surprised. Every human person that I know, my kids know, everybody uses it. It's become the de facto easy way to connect with people.
Well, I looked up before we came to talk. Discord has active monthly user range over 140 million people. And they have over 270 million people have accounts.
Listen to me, people. My husband, the CPA, uses Discord for Pokemon Go. That's what he does. And he is a 40-year-old adult. He's an actual adult male. I'm
putting that in perspective. They said for the last total accounts over 270 million. That's really close to the entire population of the United States.
It's nuts.
That's how many people use Discord.
BANANAS.
I feel like a lot of people think that Discord is like that thing that just gamers use, and I know that it's focused on that.
My husband uses it for Pokemon Go.
It's bigger than that. It's a big platform.
It's for everything. It's in lots of the same ways that Reddit has become for everything, but it was originally for nerds. Okay, just
so. This is an Xbox show.
Yeah.
So if they bought Discord, how do you think that would go for the Xbox brand? Because it's not Xbox isn't buying Discord. Microsoft
is buying. I don't know that it matters for the Xbox brand, and I say that because they already have a chat service. They already have an online service. They don't need it. Do you know what I mean? And would they even leverage the technology? Maybe for voice chat across platforms. They might leverage it for voice chat across.
I'm going to disagree with you.
I don't know. I don't know what they stand to gain.
Okay.
I don't know what they stand to gain by spending the development money to integrate it into the platform. That's what I'm open to hearing what you think they say.
Yeah.
But that's my gut instinct is why.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I disagree. I think it could mean a lot for the Xbox brand because while Discord is used for a lot of things that aren't gaming, it does have a gaming focus and influence. At the time, Discord was trying to sell games.
Oh, yeah.
It's a crowded marketplace with Epic and Game Pass and all that. So I think at the very least, Discord benefits for being a Game Pass member. I think Xbox Network has communities and chat and things like that you could replace or integrate with Discord. I would rather replace. So many official Xbox platforms are actually on Discord. Like I'm an Xbox ambassador. There is an official Xbox ambassador Discord.
They do.
That's not on the Xbox communities. One of the things that you said, what do they gain? Well, beyond gaining the ability to market and advertise to hundreds of millions of people,
sure,
they gain something that they currently don't have in the sense that they have a chat tool that nobody's using. They have a communities tab that nobody is using.
True.
So what are you buying? You're buying market share. You're buying something that people are actually using.
But are they going to use it on your console?
Well, I think that'd be up to them. I would.
Well, I mean, Microsoft could force you. It exists.
I would totally integrate it. I would have Game Pass baked into Discord. I would just swap it out, and I would make sure that every Discord member occasionally saw Game Pass, saw how many games were in Game Pass.
Advertising-wise, absolutely. You know what else is interesting? Discord has trialed the feature of letting you broadcast your gameplay to certain sets of users. That's exactly where I was going next. That's a stand to gain. That slipped my mind when I originally balked at it. It's like
exactly where I was going next.
We wrote out Mixer. We don't have great Twitch integration.
Discord would be bigger, way, way, way bigger than Mixer. And if you could set it up to exclusively go to your Discord channels and have certain people stream, I think that's
powerful.
That's a powerful thing because you're allowing you to target your own folks in a way that Twitch and YouTube don't.
I agree.
Because when you're streaming to those, you're just streaming into the void.
The void is right.
If you go to Discord, you're able to target directly your community, your patrons, your friends. If they make it in where, let's say Garrett is streaming something on Game Pass, right? And if you're a Game Pass member, there's just a button there that's join. And you click the button, and it automatically launches you into the game via streaming or somewhere else. That's cool.
I wonder. I hope that with Microsoft's considering this, if that's actually true, I hope that this is why, not just because they can stick a banner ad in Discord that says "Please buy Game Pass." While that's good, that's lazy, and there's bigger things that we could do that are more exciting with the service. But the ability to build it into a streaming platform with a built-in user set that's huge, that's compelling.
I don't think it has anything to do with their tech or Teams tech or anything like that.
No, they're
a
not
lot of people
touching
talked
it.
about that.
No.
Teams is an enterprise platform for work.
It's
a
great.
work-centric tool.
I actually like it too.
A lot of people think Teams and Slack and Discord are all the same thing, and they're not. And that's the silver lining, is that they're actually all they're all capability-wise, they do similar things.
Similar, but they're very
but
different.
They're completely different targets and different audiences.
Teams is very much enterprise. It links with Office 365 actually kind of nicely.
Teams actually integrates with everything. Like
Teams
there's so much custom API you can do with Teams. It's very powerful on the back end.
We finally started using it for work, and I actually really like it. I don't like Slack personally. I just don't. We've never used it, so I don't love it. And that's borderline. That's like smaller businesses work well in Slack. And then Discord is for everything else. Discord is the hobbyist chat platform.
Imagine if you
anything.
could link your Discord and Xbox things together to where, like, you could set it up there if somebody DMs you, or you could search for parties that were integrated with Discord with your things. Like, there's a lot that you can do with Discord, and it's a natural fit versus Xbox building their own and trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
The question becomes: Is it $10 billion worthy? That's the question.
There's 140 million people. If you can convert 20% of them to Game Pass,
by that numbers, yes,
it's actually worth $10 billion over 10 years, pretty easily,
pretty quickly.
Actually.
I'm curious to see how this shakes out. We'll see if Discord goes public or this happens.
Xbox Party Chat across PC and Xbox through
But you
Discord.
can do that, can't you? Do that through the Xbox app?
If it's an official integrated solution.
Sure, but then it undercuts their own app on PC, which is.
But if you integrate it, it doesn't undercut the app; it enhances the app. It becomes the new app.
It would be nice if that app just went away, because I don't like it. So the app is bad.
If you're using the Discord app or the Xbox app, it does the same thing. Who cares?
That's fair. That's more likely that they.
And
would
that's
just
the
link
thing.
them.
I saw some people. I saw a few opinions on Twitter that I'll bring up only to make a point. There were a lot of people that were upset to see this news, because they were taking like a console, I think, approach. I want to say console war, but I don't mean it like that. They were taking a traditional console approach that Xbox would buy Discord, and therefore you would have to have an Xbox account. Again,
they don't do
Xbox isn't buying Discord, and Microsoft doesn't work that way. Every tool that Microsoft has, Office, Live, Teams, all of that stuff, they integrate not just with other tools, with direct competitors. You can attach your Outlook email to your Gmail account.
They don't care.
If they were doing that, if that was their goal, you wouldn't be able to do any of that. But Microsoft, I think, this is above Phil's head.
At the
big
top,
time.
Yes.
At Nadella's table, he says it all the time. As a part of their philosophy, is not to lock people out like that.
I wonder if this is less intended as an Xbox boom and more as a Slack competitor. They have Teams, right? But Teams is enterprise.
It's enterprise.
But they don't have a Slack competitor. They don't have the common man, anyone can make an account competitor. This would be really compelling.
I think you're making the case for $10 billion.
Yeah, that's a case for $10 billion.
Because
as a Slack competitor, yes.
Because it's everything.
Yes,
that's the beauty of Discord, is that it's everything. It's not just Xbox. You can do Xbox stuff.
Yeah, yes.
But you can do this other stuff. You can enhance Teams. You can enhance 365. Okay. It's all of it.
We got there together. I needed to get all the way there, but I see it now.
Over 10 years, $10 billion actually sounds like a steal.
It's not that much money. But when you think about it that way, like Slack eats Teams' lunch because Slack fits the middleman better.
And it was first.
And it was first, and everybody uses Slack. Discord easily could compete with Slack. It's more it more leans that way, and Teams is like only like corporate nerds like me.
Kanamiro says, does Discord stay free to use with an optional premium plan?
It has that now. It has that now. Nitro exists. You have that.
There's no way that they turn that off, and I actually think all the Nitro benefits become Game Pass benefits.
I agree with that. Or they link them better.
That's an easy thing.
Hey, nerds, have some Game Pass benefits.
It's such
points every month or something.
How do you get new people to sign up for Game Pass? It's like you can stream it. You make it streamable directly in the Discord app on your PC.
They could do cool things.
And you get the Nitro boost just for subscribing to Game Pass. By the way, Halo and Gears is free. Like, you start to see as it revolves around. Like, I'm telling you, in 3 years, I'm not going to be surprised if you get a Game Pass discount on Office 365. It's just all going to be a part of,
Yeah, I think that it does stay free because, especially as we discussed, like, you can't come up against Slack and stuff like that. And you can't alienate that many users, people will riot off your platform. They won't do that.
I'm glad you said that, because that was one of the points I really wanted to make when people were like, oh man, this means it's never going to be PlayStation. It's never going to be like,
no.
That defeats the purpose of spending $10 billion to acquire them, to lock it off in any way.
This is a service. This is a service that links to Steam. You can have your Steam status showing. You can have your Xbox game. They don't want to touch it. They want to buy it and leverage the tech.
This is, again,
don't get nervous.
Microsoft setting themselves up to be the ultimate middleman.
Yeah, and they're good at it. They're a services company.
That's really what they're,
They're not going to buy a service just to hamstring it. They want to buy the service to then enhance it even further. They're not. Don't get nervous.
Yeah. Kanamiro says Game Pass turns to Amazon Prime. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
All right, we've got one more story, and we might take a question, although this show's already we're kind of running long, kids. Yeah. Look at that. Xbox Live is now being called the Xbox Network. In a statement to The Verge, the company said that Xbox Live will be referred to as, quote, Xbox Network after underlying Xbox online services updated under the agreement. They're also starting to roll out some of the free-to-play stuff to alpha build members, too, along with this announcement. So... yeah. This just makes sense. Xbox Live doesn't make any sense anymore. You know what I mean? Like it made sense when it launched into that name, when the world wasn't interconnected in every single way.
The only way that it makes sense is because it is a brand.
That's the thing.
Rebranding it as Xbox Network kills that branding.
Sure, but also
nobody's going to be like, "Hey, do you have Xbox Network?"
No, but the point that you've made multiple times is they want everybody on Game Pass anyway.
I know. So I was excited by this news.
Yeah,
I see this as one closer step to ultimately where I'm telling you they're going. We all know it.
I think so too.
They're getting there. They're just waiting for the Game Pass numbers to reach a certain threshold.
There's a threshold.
And
there's
then it's
kill it, Steve. Then they pop open. They have the double key. Phil has one key.
I think the free-to-play stuff is cool. Like, that stuff is for Alpha Head, Skipperhead folks. They're already seeing it, but it's not live for every game. So developers will have to go and patch it and bring it in.
This isn't as seamless as some of the other things that Xbox does. But
it's not like a master switch. They're like, oh, it's free now. No, it doesn't work like that.
I think it's going to take some time, but I'm encouraged to see them already rolling it out into the Skip Ahead and Alpha Build folks to play with it.
I didn't expect it to be this fast, to be honest.
No, I was expecting August.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting it, going into the fall.
Yeah, I was expecting it like this fall, like whenever, like after, I was expecting it to be like one of those things they bring up, like say they had an E3-like presentation.
Yeah, and we're rolling it out.
It's coming out this fall, and
I expected it to hit alpha in August, so that in October, ahead of Halo, it would be to everybody. So this is great. So
let's take...
We
got no questions today.
That's fine. We got one live.
But Coach Hulk Live says, do you think there's a certain threshold for Game Pass to acquire Ubi?
There's a rumor going around. There's been a rumor going around for quite some time that much like the EA roll-in, that Ubisoft and Microsoft are trying to arrange this.
I do think it does probably come when there's a certain amount of... I think if they can get to 25 or 30 million, then Ubisoft will bring their games. I'm interested to see how they do it, because... I want Ubi Pass, Ubi Plus to come to console. I don't think they're going to do that, because if they were, I think they already would have.
I think maybe they're waiting for Game Pass to give them the option to roll it in as a premium add-on. Maybe they're waiting for Microsoft to set that up.
But I think if they were going to do that, I think... Because it's not just Xbox, it's PlayStation 2.
Yes.
If Ubi wanted to bring Ubi Plus to consoles, they would already have their own Ubi Plus subscription on console. In my opinion.
Somebody must be running the numbers and deciding it's not worth it.
That's why I think Ubi games will come to Game Pass, but they'll come delayed. I think
absolutely.
There will be an agreement where it's like, hey, get every Ubisoft game on Game Pass 3 months after it releases with the occasional day one release.
Every
Something
once in a while.
Like Quarantine, whatever they rename that damn thing. Maybe that launches. Like, they're more service-based games.
Yeah.
They go right away.
The reason
or, maybe if you get the game DLC or gold versions or something. I don't know. There's got to be something. But I have this sinking feeling that Ubisoft's going to try to have their cake and eat it too.
I 100% think they are, because they have a lot of market share and they make a lot of money off their games.
Yeah,
they found a formula that allows their games to hit $20 within 3 months of release, and they're still making money. I can
And
get a copy of Watch Dogs right now on Xbox digitally for $20.
And that's why I think it's got to be Game Pass has to reach a certain amount so Microsoft can either we're going to give you this much, or the games will come 90 days after release or something like that.
I think for most people, a lot of people have gotten into this holding pattern with Ubi Games anyway. I'd wait.
Let me ask you this.
All right.
Maybe it comes like I got 2 ideas. Crazy ideas just right off the top of my head.
Let's go, buddy.
Maybe it comes as like a premium add-on.
That's what I was thinking.
So it's like for $5 extra a month, you get all the Ubisoft games?
So that's the way Stadia does it.
Right.
And that's the way I see Ubisoft wanting to do it. And the reason I say that this has not happened yet is not necessarily because Ubisoft doesn't want to do it, but because maybe the infrastructure isn't in place for Microsoft Game Pass to have the option yet.
The crazier idea that I have that I don't like as much, although I actually think it could be kind of brilliant, is maybe being a Game Pass member gets you like an exclusive discount on all Ubisoft stuff. Like if you're a member of Game Pass, you get like 50% off everything.
They could do that. They could go even further. They could give you 30% off or whatever percent off and let you try the game for 10 hours.
Something like that.
That's a thing that has happened. You know, that's a thing that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting question. All right. Do we want to take any other questions, or are we done? I think we're done, man. Yeah,
it's a long show.
This was a good show. This was great.
The Big Indie Show. Elaine, this is your first, I think our first like indie breakdown together, like an E3, like a showcase breakdown together.
Yeah.
I've always, one of my favorite things about Nintendo Shack are the indie games. I pride myself in this stuff. So I was having a ball today.
I'm excited.
And this is exactly how I would want to do a show just like this.
Yeah, like this is the way that I enjoyed that we could pick it apart and then put back together the pieces we liked. And look, I like getting excited about games that maybe nobody's ever heard of. Like that's one of my favorite things. Like I've always heard of the big AAA games. I'm excited about those too. But there's something so compelling about an adorable ass indie game that makes your brain go, "What?" That's like, I want to do that. Skatebird.
I can't wait to play that game.
There's a lot of the
so
games on this list. I'm pumped to play so many. It's so stupid. I can't wait to play it.
Stupid.
Indie games in 2021, y'all. That's so stupid. I can't wait to play as a bird with a sword.
Mm-hmm.
Video games are so great.
It's good stuff.
All right, kids. I think that's going to do it. Let me give a shout out to our Patreon producers before we head out into the sunset in our onesies. Donnie's going to throw himself back in the hot tub. I'm going to go into the sunset. All right. Thank you to all the Patreon supporters, and thank you to the folks here at the producer level: Michael Messick, Barry Cathcart, Edwin Callow, Stephen Keller, Nick Creature, Rude Days 93, Ben Moxham, Robbie Manuel, Nick Fallhaber, Paul Calicote, Kyle Heyman, Chris M. Devin Tyus, Josh Bourbon, RJ Kern, and Grouchy Surge. Thanks, y'all. You make this a party every week. All of you guys make this a party every week. Get at us on Twitter. Donnie is Eat the Hype, and I am ET Dragon. We like tweets on the Bird app. Big fan. Burb. That's going to do it, right? We out of here? All right.
We're out.
We'll see you guys next week, and until then, play some video games.
Peace.